Hey everybody, good morning. Josh here, and I tend to ramble a lot about the same old stuff, but isn't that what life's about? I mean, isn't that what we do as humans? I mean, you can only cover so many subjects, but the one that I'm really interested in lately especially is what do people really want out of life? And are we really being suppressed and kept from doing the things that we want? And the point that I wanted to make here was not to argue that we're being prohibited from doing the things that we want to do, nor am I here to say that we have all the freedom to do anything that we want to do. Somewhere in the middle lies a balance of proper action, proper values, proper integrity, and a degree of selflessness that allows one to live within that value system, but not such selflessness that one gives himself completely away to others. Now, to expound on this, a lot of people abandon materialism for a cleaner way of life, in their opinion. In other words, a person realizes that having stuff and being somebody and being recognized and having clout doesn't mean anything, because in the individual mind you're with yourself and you have to deal with your own emotions and shortcomings. No one else can do that for you. The images that we have of certain people who maybe are famous, maybe celebrities, or maybe great philosophers or great religious teachers, they may appear to be very content in their way of life, and we may see that and want to reflect that ourselves. But the truth is, everybody gets up, takes a shit, and brushes their teeth. It's the same story. Each person has things on their mind and has things to work out. There is no person who has attained this perfection of, well, I'm not going to say that there isn't anybody out there who's happy all the time. I'm just saying that each person has moments of question, moments of doubt, moments of misunderstanding. Anyone who says they don't hasn't thought it through, but I can't be in everyone's mind. I only know mine. So we have these notions of life that there's a particular path to be happy or to be consistently happy. And I hear a lot of people say that, this is why I wanted to tie this in with the rights thing, is because many of the rights that we claim to have, or the claim that we should have, are rights that are harmful to others. For example, if I can think of one off the top of my head, I've heard people say things like, there should be absolutely no gun control, that weapons should be allowed to be freely possessed by any American that wants one. Now that's the cut and dry way. That's the, I want my freedom. My freedom is to have any firearm I like. The reality of it is that, to a degree, I'm not going to say it causes more or less crime to have more guns, but when I look around, I see plenty of guns available. I see plenty of ammunition available. But there's always somebody who's going to want more, who's going to say, I want a bigger clip, I want more guns, I want bigger bullets, I want this available to me because it's my right as a human. It's a freedom. But this same freedom allows the guns to get into the hands of people who don't necessarily respect guns or people, but I'm not saying that that's the whole reason. I'm trying to come up with some ideas that I can explain here. The freedom for a person to, spit wherever they want. Well, you can't spit in someone's house because that's disrespecting another person. So my point being that each time a person feels like their freedoms are being diminished, needs to really consider which freedoms they do have, as well as how that freedom will impact those around them. And you have to think it through. You have to say, hey, if I act this way, if I behave this way, if I do this, is it going to harm others? And is it going to harm myself? And will it harm my integrity, my ability to be a good human? As to the best we know. Because my view of being a good human could be completely ignorant and completely off base from what being a good human really is. In fact, if we are just evolutionary selfish creatures, then the proper behavior would be to a degree to get one's own. But at the same time, even in the animal world, in the animal kingdom, we see that animals feed one another, help one another. It's not a cutthroat world, but we make it that way because we're disillusioned by all the crap that's being put in front of us. All the information that's being put out there. All of the evidence, all of the diagrams and stories and pie charts, percentages, all the studies and theories. We're being inundated with these things. And the thing that's sad about it is that people at one time could expect to perhaps develop a career in, not a career, but a lifestyle in philosophy or discovery or invention. A person even 100 years ago could be recognized and brought to the table as being a person who made an impact on human life. Today, there are so many discoveries being made at such a fevered pace that it's impossible to gain real recognition within the cluster. People don't stand out anymore. Humanity is making discoveries, not individuals anymore, which I think to a degree is good, because many of the people who we credit with discovering things, electricity, creating a light bulb, all these different things, these were ideas that were already on the table by other people, but one person happened to be the one who could get the patent, or the one who made the invention popular and famous. Many of the people that we are credit with finding these things weren't really the founders of them. And today it's the same way. We're all kind of finding these things together. And as we find them, we discover new technicalities about life, new freedoms that we have to adjust in order to make sure that everyone gets an equal treatment. Now, I'm not even talking about the laws that are made to protect big corporations. That's completely out of this discussion, and I'm appalled with that. Laws that are made to protect big business, that's different. But the general freedoms, the freedoms to go where one wants and do what one wants, we have a lot more, I think, than we realize, especially here in the U.S., because that's, I can only speak for my own country. But, there's some harsh cops, there are some harsh military people, there are some harsh, government figures. But in general, I can get in my car, I can travel around the country. I can see what I want to see and do what I want to do, so long as I harm no one. And that, my friends, to me, is freedom. So while in the 21st century, a lot of people, it appears to them that we've lost our freedoms, that maybe in ancient times people were free to do what they want. Let's not forget that Socrates was put to death because he chose not to pay a fine for corrupting Athens' youth, because he would go around asking them, what's the meaning of life? It's that simple. You were not free in those times to express your view of life. You had to follow the state. And to a degree that's still true in many countries, but at least here I can speak my religious beliefs, I can speak my political beliefs, and not fear too much retribution for it. And that's pretty good freedom. But we have to work on some of the other ones because we have a long way to go. But just remember what you do have. And my only point would be that we need to stop dwelling on the negative as humans, because positive is the only way we're going to move forward. So, namaste.